Rubrics are a scoring guide or an assessment tool. Some people also refer to rubrics as checklists. Rubrics allow you to develop a consistent score for maybe a subjective assignment or to analyze an image. Rubrics are often used to develop data to inform decision making. They allow you to develop consistent and reliable data and allow everybody to look at the same data to eventually come up with decisions. You may have seen rubrics in some of your classes. You often might use a rubric to grade an essay or to grade the steps of a math problem. You may also see rubrics used in your art or music class to grade a piece of music or how something sounds or a piece of art or a photograph. Part of your assignment in the Deep Sea Ecosystems module is to develop a rubric and then use it to analyze images of coral reefs. We're going to first have some practice by analyzing images of familiar pictures to you, such as someone driving. In order to develop this rubric, we are going to go through a couple of steps. Then you will use this rubric to analyze these images in your module. I'm showing you right now the structure of a basic rubric. It is often in a grid form. You would often have on your first column a list of your performance criteria, or your categories. You may decide however many categories or criteria you would want for your rubric. In this sample, they have 4. Across the top, you would have your scales. In this case, this grid is representing 3 scales. Depending on what you're creating your rubric, you might have additional scales. The rubric that we will create will also have 3 scales. Within each scale, there's description of the criteria that might meet that scale. This rubric is a rubric for math homework. As you can see, in our first column, or left column, we go down and there is a total of 5 categories that the teacher would like to grade the math homework on. Across the top, there is a scale to assign points to each level of the math homework. Then there is a description within each box. So this is a fully completed rubric, an example of how to fairly grade a math homework assignment using a rubric. We're going to look at how this rubric is built, and then we will return to the fully completed rubric to decide how to appropriately grade a sample of math homework. So this shows us a skeleton of a rubric for math homework. The teacher has decided in this case, or the developer of the rubric has decided in this case, that neatness, completion, timeliness, accuracy, and work shown are important criteria or categories for grading math homework. We've decided the scale from 1 to 3, 1 being poor, 2 being fair, and 3 being excellent. So in this case, now your responsibility would be to write short descriptions of what would represent poor neatness in a math homework assignment, fair neatness, and excellent neatness. When you develop a rubric, we highly recommend you do the poor first, the excellent second, and then you can decide what needs to go in the middle. As you can see, the 1, 2, 3 are scales, but they represent the quality of the work of the math homework. These scores of 1, 2, and 3 allow the teacher to assign a number to that quality in order to get a final grade for your math homework. Now we're referring back to our completed rubric for this sample of math homework. There's a total of 15 points that a student can earn for their math homework. So if they got excellent in all 5 categories, and anybody can grade the math homework according to these categories because the description should allow the grades to be consistent. So maybe this student got a 2 for neatness, a 3 for completion. They were a little late, so they got a 2 for timeliness, another 2 for accuracy, and then they showed all the steps, so they have a 3 for work shown. This would total up to 11 out of 15, which then can be used to determine a grade. This student might receive a 73% or a C on their homework assignment. Again, this math homework assignment was graded according to this rubric. So no matter who graded this math homework, they should have come up with the same score. And this was a way the rubric allowed the teacher or another student to take the math homework assignment and complete it into data, or a score of 73%, which gave the student an idea of the quality of their homework. You will now be doing this with the pictures of the drivers, and then again later with the pictures of your coral reef. You should decide as a class what categories you will use, and then the description for each scale level of the category. Once you have decided this and have a completed rubric, you will look at each image and then evaluate the image according to the rubric.